How did you perceive wearing gloves?
I would never wear gloves. I hope that doesn't offend anyone in here if you guys wear gloves.
No.
I do from time to time.
I would rather just lose calluses and rebuild them. And
I would never want to do it, but
it helps you grip better.
When I do it is during the
I don't really drop sticks though.
Colder months. In the colder months, my skin will split.
Mine does that though. That's mine splits really bad.
So then I'll put Johnny and I carry tons of new skin around. So so we'll put the hydrogen peroxide in there to clean it. Then we put on layers and layers of new skin. I might even gaff tape that up, and then I'll throw on the Zildjian glove on my left hand.
This is the Rich Redmond Show.
Hey, what part of town do you live in?
Man, I'm living in Donaldson.
Nice.
I love it over there.
Donaldson and Hermitage is where everybody starts, and then sometimes they'll get away from there, but most people just ride it out, man.
I've kind of lived all over the place, though, just pretty much every part of town, I think.
It's nice to be by the airport, man.
Honestly, that was like half the reason. I'm like, man, 6 minutes from the airport saves a lot of time and money, honestly, the amount you fly. But
what's the weirdest smell you've ever smelled?
The weirdest smell I've ever smelled?
Well, John and I have been on a lot of tour buses. So
honestly, everyone in my band, they're pretty clean. Like there's no bad, we don't have any weird smells or anything.
And a bunch of metrosexuals on there just covered in Dolce & Gabbana.
Honestly, no, everyone's just clean.
Old school clean.
Old school clean,
like
man.
Deodorant and
everyone just takes care of themselves. Honestly, it's the worst smell I've ever smelled, and I'll never forget it. Is when I was Uber driving in Nashville.
Oh my God.
It's the first couple of years were pretty rough. It was the smell of drunk people in my car at 3 a.m. That breath and that alcohol smell.
They just soaked in alcohol.
It just smells like Broadway. And I'm just like, I could never get over that smell.
So get this.
It was horrible.
The other day I got picked up with my Uber to the airport, and I ordered it the night before. It's one of those ungodly pickup times, like 4:45 in the morning. So this guy's on time. I treated myself, got a little black car, so there's a little bit of extra space. He shows up. I didn't really notice any smell or anything, but then halfway through the ride, he goes, "Everything should be great back there. I scrubbed and cleaned and sprayed, but someone threw up like an hour ago." And right where I'm sitting, he's like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, bro." I was like, "Why didn't you tell me ahead of time?" "Well, I thought you might not take the trip." And
why would you tell me anyway?
He should have just
don't tell you.
Plus, they make like $300 from that, so they can just take a day. You know?
So I know a lot of Uber drivers. For whatever reason, I prefer Lyft. I like the branding. I like the color. It just seems like the company culture is. Did you drive for both?
No, I did Uber because I didn't want to answer to a boss or do a 9 to 5. Yeah. I just wanted to make my rent and practice or do whatever.
But it was pretty smooth working for that corporation because it's faceless and it's hard to get anybody on the phone.
It's weird, honestly. And I never contacted it. When I did it, it was very early in Nashville, so you barely had to register. It was kind of sketchy.
Yeah.
But there were no Uber lanes. It was way before COVID, and all that stuff. So, and it was crazy too at one point. I was just like, man, I dipped out after about 2 years of doing it. Yeah. But it was the only time I would just go out and do nights.
Did you do Uber Eats?
No, I never really thought about that. I kind of wish I did at that point, but I just did it, and just got over it.
Well, that's the new waiting tables. Because I waited tables, I parked cars, I made copies, I did construction. I mean, you do these things, you know. So, and that's the new version of it because it's totally flexible. You can work whenever you feel like it.
That was me. I just didn't want to have to hey, I need a Thursday and Friday off for a gig. I was I don't want to answer to anybody.
The other one is people work at the Pearl Factory, or they'll work at Innovative Percussion wrapping mallets,
Yeah.
So that's cool, man.
Did you do that too?
I didn't wrap mallets. No, I was a substitute teacher, so I taught.
No way. Were you really?
K through 3. No. To me, K through 3, you can still make a difference. And they're like, "Hey, Mr. Redmond, can we go out and play on this?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll come out." I'd get on the jungle gym with them and stuff at recess. And they're like, "Oh, you're so cool." And then what are we going to do now? Nap time.
We're going to nap.
We're going to nap.
I would have loved to have had you as a teacher. I feel like that would have been a lot of fun, honestly.
I need to ask you, does this smell like chloroform?
Ouch, buddy.
Oh, man.
Good at psh.
Oh, you got the sounds too? No way.
Nice.
Oh my gosh.
Lay
Jim,
on it.
Jim, try to use some of the dark horses that we don't use a lot today.
You got the air horn on that? Oh my god.
Yeah. That always reminds me of a Predators game.
Yeah.
You know,
like
and
at a
then
hockey
when I
game.
teach kids shuffles, because it's like you're great at shuffles because you're a big band musician. We're going to talk about that. But the shuffles aren't on the radio anymore. So I always say, like, hey, you know, when you go to a football game or a hockey game, it's like, I say, that's a shuffle, kids.
Yeah.
It's a triplet.
They've heard it. They don't know. It's just.
Yes, they say.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think it's like?
Why do you think
So like a
shuffles-
dying
Triples,
groove?
I mean, unless you're almost like nearly every early version of Green Day had a shuffle on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's funny because in the Huey thing that I'm doing, which is May 28th in the City Winery of Nashville.
I like how you break the fourth wall, just like Mr. Roper.
I just look right at the camera and do it.
Yeah.
They said because, you know, Huey's music has so many shuffles.
Yeah.
And the guitar player, he says, you can't find many drummers that can do a good shuffle
Yeah.
anymore.
It's a dying.
So I'm committed to it. I'm doubling down.
So with your gig, we got Jonathan Bostwick in the house. He's an Ohio native from Dayton, Ohio. Big rock and roll town, guided by Voices, The Pretenders. And he was telling me the funk capital of the world.
Yes, sir.
Or one of them, the Ohio Players.
Yeah.
You started playing drums at age 12. You went to the Cincinnati Conservatory of Music. That's a mouthful. And you studied with John Von Ohlen. He's still alive. I think
no,
so.
he
Did
passed away a few years
It
ago.
didn't say that on his wiki.
Really?
I should know
I mean,
this.
if for people who know him and are aware of who he is, he's a big deal.
So Woody
But-
Herman's drummer, Stan Kenton's drummer, and he always had a. When I was at North Texas, we would always try to find the perfect big band ride cymbal that would have a bell, would have a
the best
wash,
cymbals, man.
and ding daka ding. You can do the dang, it cut through 17 guys and let them know where the beat was. And I love that you were a jazz cat. I mean, we're going to have to dig in and talk about that. But since 2021, you know, you're fresh meat. You've been touring with award-winning country artist Parker McCollum. I love the guy because he's at the crossroads of big Nashville machinery, the Texas thing, the singer-songwriter thing. You guys did Parker's Burn It Down headlining tour. You've been direct support on Morgan Wallen's One Night at a Time world tour. You performed direct support for George Strait at his record-breaking show at Kyle Field. That had to be amazing. That is the largest single-ticketed event in U.S. history, 102,000 people.
Man, so fun fact, Zildjian, when I got my Zildjian and Bigfirth endorsement, they like butchered my bios. And I'm not hating on them, by the way. I was just like, oh, that's pretty funny. I don't care.
Is this the correct bio that I have?
So it was 110,000.
110,000.
But I think Zach Bryan just beat that record for a show he's doing in Michigan or something.
Wow.
Like 112.
I thought
Either
we were
way,
so
it's
cool.
crazy,
Like,
man. It was wild.
Yeah.
For at least 30 minutes, we had that whole crowd because we got to play for at least, I think, like over an hour. We had a good time
That's
to play.
nice.
Yeah, it was fun, man. And I remember just looking up and going, man, everyone's here. This is like it was cool. And I wasn't nervous. It was just fun.
All the
you
cool
know?
people in Texas are here. Playing massive crowds is not usually nerve-wracking. It's when you have to do like the softest press roll in your life for like 5 of your colleagues. And they're like right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the kind of stuff that makes me nervous.
Really?
Yeah, I get honest. I genuinely get more nervous and care more about how everyone in the band feels. Like I want everyone to come off the stage saying, "Hey, that was a great show."
High five.
Yeah, like I've never really gotten in my head about the crowd size because what I'm really caring about is like making sure everyone here on stage like feels good.
Yeah.
Like I honestly get more nervous in a club than in like a stadium or an arena.
Yeah.
Because you can see everybody. Stadiums are it's weird. They're so far away still kind of.
Do you pick out somebody to kind of focus on like quadrants? Like there's a blonde, there's a brunette, there's a redhead. Here, that's cool looking dude right there with his kids.
Sometimes I'll stare at people, but then after a while I'm like, oh wait, they totally notice I'm staring at them. Even in an arena, I'm like, I feel
They're
like
is he looking at me?
they're looking at me and I'm like, oh, this is weird. Okay. So
You ever try to vibe them out?
yeah, sometimes I'll
Really?
really like try to commit. And I'm like, no, I'm looking at this person. I'm not breaking. And I'm like, no, they're looking right at me too. Oh, this is weird.
And you got a nice setup. I mean, you've got like very musical dark cymbals. You got some K's up there.
Yeah, I love the K's. Man.
And you're saying Vic Firth. Vic Firth makes a nice drumstick. We love Vic.
Consistent.
very consistent. And then congratulations, you got this Craviotto drum deal.
Thank you, man.
I mean, it's a big one. I remember Chris McHugh. We did some shows. There you are. Everybody loves Craviotto. Everybody's making a great drum. That's the thing. It's like even like if CB700 is around, they've had to up their game. You know what I mean? Everybody's making great stuff. Otherwise, you don't survive. But I remember years ago we were doing support for Keith Urban, and Chris McHugh was like, "Come on, check out my new tubs." And I go up there, and I'm like, "Yeah, they're nice. They sound like drums." But he goes, "Guess what? Guess how much these are?" And I was like, $8,000. He goes, $12,000.
I remember when he sold that whole setup too.
Yeah,
I
and that was with Sonar. He made the switch.
Yeah, he switched to, I think, Sonar. At least I've seen him playing that.
Yeah,
Sonar's making a comeback.
They're a bit aggressive. And then what do you do for heads?
Man, Remo.
Yeah.
That's the one thing everyone's like, man, just do Evans live. It doesn't matter. I'm like, I know no one can tell what head I'm using, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, I just love Remo.
There's a soulful quality to Remo.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
It's such a good drum head. And to me, it's a huge part of making even a better kit feel amazing.
Yeah.
I just have to have them on there. I just do. I will not compromise on that one thing.
I love that. I love that about you. And you've done all the TV shows. It's so fun doing the CMT and ACM Awards at Tonight Show. Man. You got the Fallons, you got the Kimmels, you got CMA Fest. You guys do the Houston Rodeo with the spinning stagecoach. That Houston Rodeo. I mean, there's a lot of rodeos out there, but that is like the premier. That's
the one, man. As far as I've been told,
it just. Well, we've done the San Antonio Rodeo before, and it was kind of like. It was like no offense, San Antonio. We love your restaurants, we love your water walk, your river walk, but I mean the Houston Rodeo is like
it's from everyone. What everyone tells me, because I'm from Ohio. Yeah. So when I was doing all this Texas stuff, I was like, some of it I'm like, yeah, this is huge, this is a big deal, but what's the gravity of it? And they're like, dude, this is like the biggest rodeo in the country. Yeah. And I'm like, oh. And
they have like R&B night, and they have country night, and they'll have
it's not
Tejano
just country,
night,
it's a bunch.
And it's like it just packs out with the fans of those genres. And
you're playing right in the middle of the rodeo arena. On the dirt, right?
Like the band will schlep it out on the dirt, and then we'll go out and we'll get into place, right? And there's this anticipation, the crowd can feel it, and then usually the artist will come out in some sort of a truck or something.
Yeah, you can ride, the whole stage moves out into the center of the dirt. It's like this giant rig that I forget how much it is. It's like a couple $1 million. It's nuts.
Yeah.
I saw it the other day. It had like the fingers that came down.
Yeah, like the big, it looks like maybe, I don't think it's a star. It's like a sun.
It's like straight out of Close Encounters. It's like,
it looks like a ship. It's like a mothership.
You know what I mean?
Is that there permanently, or they just do it once a year?
Once a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's that same one, I'm pretty sure.
And it's the thing where, Jason, sometimes he'll get salty, and he said some blue words before, and they were like, "You're never coming back." And every year he comes back. So pretty amazing. So where's the rest of the band? Is everybody Nashville based?
No, I'm the only one that's Nashville based.
So how does that work with travel?
The crew side of things is a lot bigger now. There's actually a good chunk of Nashville people involved now. But when I originally joined, I was pretty much doing like a weekly commute to Austin. I'd fly in there, and then I'd Uber about 30 minutes to Buda, Texas.
Yeah. And they cover all that.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Nice.
So they're in the what do they call that? The hills.
The hill country.
Yeah.
I think so. I still don't know my Texas geography that well, but
it's a beautiful area.
But but Buta's boring. I was in like a warehouse lot. There was a backline company. Those guys they would let me come in, and they'd like sometimes even feed me. I was like a stray dog when I'd get there like 6 hours early, 10 hours.
And just hang out.
The manager at the time would fly me in like super early. I don't know if that was just for convenience or whatever.
Make sure you get there to get
But I was just rolling with it. So I'm like, cool. And I would just spend my day till bus call in a warehouse lot in Buda, Texas.
Yeah.
But yeah, just flying, and then I'd fly back home out of Austin every week pretty much.
So Ohio is not known for Mexican food. So have you developed the...
Hey, you know what? I grew up near a really good Mexican restaurant.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Nice.
My buddy Alejandro, his dad ran it, and it was fantastic.
Does he do the street tacos with the cilantro and the onions and all that?
Yeah, it was like a normal kind of like Mexican restaurant. I had like all the burritos, like kind of wherever you go, but they did it just
really nice. There's something really special about Tex-Mex, though. I mean,
oh my God, yeah. I've had a bunch of it now, and oh my goodness, it's amazing. I love it so much,
dude. So great. So I'm so glad, man. You just told me you're just about turned 30 years old, and
I did. Yeah, last January turned 30.
Oh, last 30.
Yeah.
And you got everything lined up. This gig is not going away. I mean, this kid Parker is going to be doing this thing for 20 years at least.
I think so, and it feels like it, man. At this point, I've been in it for a couple years now, so sometimes I have a hard time telling. I see everything as good, and it feels like it's moving that way.
Yeah.
And so,
does everybody get in the band along smashingly?
Oh yeah, man, I love that band. Those guys have been amazing to work with. And we have 2 new members that joined, and they just even brought it home even more.
Yeah, man,
Been fun.
That's totally great. Jim, any questions so far?
I was just, we were talking about the smell before.
Oh yeah,
Weirdest smell.
Did we dig in deep enough for you?
I don't know.
Well, for us,
I don't think we did.
We're relatively, we got it down. I mean,
I can relate to what you're talking about, the smoky alcohol smell.
But it didn't even smell like alcohol. It smelled like alcohol that had been sitting in your stomach for a couple hours. Like that breath. That's that alcohol breath.
Because I remember
it's the worst smell in the world.
What would be the weirdest smell for me other than Bradford pear trees, which smells like piss and fish?
What?
Maybe that Iggy Pop guy. He probably smells weird.
No, there was like, when you used to play clubs, remember because in Nashville, I don't think they permit smoking in the clubs anymore, right?
Nope.
Cigarettes. So back in the day.
The good old days, man.
Yeah.
In the 90s, when I used to play, getting home at 3, 4 a.m. and dropping your pants to go to bed and that whoosh.
The smoke comes out of everything.
The smoke and the alcohol was like, oh my God.
And then your drum
dropping your pants?
Yeah. Because you'd just throw them off. You just want to get to bed,
Wait, I don't mean to be, your downstairs smelled like alcohol?
I played clubs.
I know, but I thought you said you'd drop your pants and
too.
you'd smell alcohol. Like you'd smell alcohol down there.
Alcohol and smoke and beer and all that
I was
stuff.
like, what? Sorry, I got a little.
When you open up your drum cases the next day and
that-
the smoke,
cigarettes.
That too.
I'm glad not to have gear that's covered in cigarette smoke.
Yeah.
But something about a smoke-filled club, though.
We lived through it, and we lived through you could smoke on airplanes.
Honestly,
That's the
I would
stupidest
have
thing
loved to
ever.
rip a heater on a plane, man. That'd be nice.
Smoking in malls. Remember smoking in malls?
That sounds lovely.
I know.
Maybe we'll get back to that.
Yeah, in this world, everything is just so PC, and it's all the fun is
We've gone
away.
too soft, man. We got to bring cigarettes back into public spaces and buildings again.
There's a part of me that agrees.
Yeah, man.
Or at least they got
we have gone soft.
The BNA has a hoon lounge.
A what?
A smoke lounge, like a hoon lounge.
Really?
They do?
Yeah. And like it's I forget which wing it is, but if you happen to be over there, you're like, man, I really want it. Like a cigarette just sounds good right now. You can walk in there. I don't do it too often, but every once in a while, it's just like.
That's one thing I have never put in my mouth.
Actually, the other back in October, we went up to an Elks Lodge. I want to say in Madison, north of Nashville, see a friend's band.
Yeah,
and it was one of these things where if you're a member, they allowed smoking inside, and it was like just kind of nostalgic.
Yeah, it is. And the secondhand smoke's kind of nice. You know? My grandma smoked like 2 packs a day, so whenever we go over there, that smell, whenever I smell it, I feel like I'm home in a weird way. My parents didn't smell it. It was just my grandmother's house. But whenever I smell that, I feel like I'm at my grandma's, and it's comforting in a weird way. Whenever I smell cigarettes.
Cigarette smell that is embedded in 70s vinyl in cars, 70s vehicles vinyl.
Yeah.
That's what I grew up with.
It's hard to get out.
My parents, man, my mom was a nurse, and this is the strangest thing, but they'd sit on either side of me at the dinner table and they just puff smoke in my face.
Yeah.
Like this was just a normal thing in 1976.
Yeah.
So I started playing drums in 1976. You said age 12. That wasn't very long ago. That was
I started playing drums when I was like a little baby.
Yeah.
But I started playing in church around 12 years old.
Oh,
that's when
church is such a common thing now. So like every Sunday you're playing in church.
Yeah, I'd play the main service, and I remember doing like the youth band, and that was huge for me because my parents didn't want me playing bars or anything. And our church actually had like a really good, not a music program, but just the musicians that were involved in the youth band and the main church band. Like a lot of them went and did something musically. It was a really cool time to be there when that church was like doing really well. And it was just, it was fun. And
just
that's
like contemporary Christian music, like Michael W. Smith and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's what I grew up on, like the early Hillsong records, CCM music, Michael W. Smith. Pretty much name any early CCM artist, we grew up on that, like the live worship records.
And isn't that crazy? That's all recorded here.
Yeah, and man, those CCM records are recorded. To me, they're some of the best sounding records ever made. Really, like some of the Michael W. Smith stuff just sounds so damn good.
Yeah, we had Scott Williamson in here,
incredible.
the CCM session drummer.
Yeah.
He does all sorts of stuff, but he gets called a lot to do that stuff. And we were just talking about that record that he played on Jesus Freak for DC Talk.
Yeah, dude.
It still holds up really well.
Dude, I had a VHS tape of that. That album was like, and the live record, that changed my life when I was a little kid. That was, and I remember, I love that. That was a special place. So you were
playing backbeats, doing that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then, so when did the jazz? What did your parents do? Did they play music, or how did you get into the jazz thing, man?
I can tell you exactly when. When I was a really little kid, I would go to the library and just get like 20 CDs. I'd grab it from every genre, just because for me it was just fun to like.
It's free.
Yeah, and just to like sit behind the drums and just play the music, and just I loved how my brain felt. It just felt so reactive, and just I felt so free doing it.
That's cool.
And I got a record by an artist named Jamie Cullum.
Yes.
He's a British jazz pop artist.
Yeah.
And he's got a song called Photograph on there. And the piano solo. That's when I was like, I love jazz now.
Yeah.
And just started listening to that a ton, and ultimately fell in love with it. Not because I wanted to make a career out of that or move to New York, but I just loved how it made my playing feel. It made everything so much easier to play.
Yeah.
And it was just being able to learn how to express yourself, spontaneously with other people, I think is so valuable. And that was just such a fun time. From there through basically college, I studied it and was obsessed with it. And then I moved here and I was like, all right, time to shift gears and learn the Nashville thing.
Backbeat it up.
Yeah.
So the Cincinnati Conservatory for Music, it's a
you
mouthful.
You can just say University of Cincinnati, which is also a mouthful too. You can't really win either way.
Art Gore and John Von Olen. So did you have to audition to get in?
It was a pretty selective program. And this isn't saying much for me because I was still I was waitlisted and put on academic probation. But I think out of the 3,000 people that usually applied, they took 300.
Oh wow!
And it was really, I loved it. It kicked my ass, man. But ultimately, once I got accepted and went through that program, I was there for about 3 years. And
3 years, you're so close to graduating.
Not if you're on the right track. The way they had the curriculum set up, and basically, there was one class I didn't pass. And because of that, it offset my whole schedule for the 4 years. And because of that one class, it was realistically going to take me 6 years to graduate.
Dang. Yeah.
And I still got a ton from the classes. Everything was accelerated. So I was doing, we were doing jazz theory. We also had to do a mandatory minor in classical theory. All the ear training, all the sight singing, all that stuff.
Sight screaming.
Dude, yeah. And like, here's the key. Here's the music, sing the melody.
Oh, dude.
That stuff. Or
I'd stay up all night working on that kind of stuff because I am not a natural singer.
You're music school. But
you're a natural singer and you sing backgrounds
yes, sir. Yeah.
in Parker's band, which is great. So it was probably not sight screaming for you. You were actually sight singing.
No, but that really helped that stuff, I think, go from just like a raw ability that I got from my mom or learned in church and stuff to it. I didn't really notice how much of an effect positively my schooling took until I was a few years out of it.
Yeah.
And doing like the stuff I'm doing now and just how much better it made my ear and those kind of things.
Being able to scribble out a chart because you read rhythmic notation.
And actually write out, the exact rhythms.
That's like you're at
that exact rest and everything that you're supposed to do.
99 point something more prepared to face anything that gets thrown at you over a lot of guys.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys that have amazing careers that just must white knuckle it because they can't write down a reminder for themselves what the rhythm is. So they must have look at the brains on Brad, from
it's like they need a charting course or something. It's weird.
I feel pretty lucky. My parents were very good about, because I wasn't really good at much else. Like I was immediately gravitating towards drums and music, and they were really great about, when they could, getting me drum lessons, driving me to all the things to, get a proper education. That's the one thing they could understand. Well, it's like, if he's going to do this, he needs a good education with it.
Yeah.
The other stuff we don't get, that's him, in terms of like making music and doing the creative thing. But I was really grateful from like 6th grade on to, have a teacher just literally do the, just go through the actual flow of a stroke when you're playing the drums and do all the basics and really learn that stuff. And thankfully, like my wrists still feel great. I haven't messed up my hands.
Yeah.
I don't have any tendonitis.
Yeah.
Everything still works good, you know.
And just stretch.
Do you feel like you have anything like that?
I think that any drummer my age that plays the way I play is going to feel things, you know.
And you're working, man. You work harder than I do. Like Parker's music's different.
Yeah.
You know, Jason's music, like you're going for blood every night.
Where this has like a motorcycle gang.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a way to look like you're hitting it, and you do hit hard, but when you let the stick kind of take the blow, there's a way to do that in the grip that you're holding it, right?
I drop a lot of sticks because I'm barely holding on.
Yeah.
I've got the fulcrum where you pinch the fulcrum, then you use these fingers to kind of control and drive the stick, but you don't constrict it.
Yeah.
And you got to use your wrist, and also all the right stuff that you learn from playing orchestrally, pulling off timpani, pulling
that
off
really
the marimba, all that stuff. Yeah. But Jim, I'll wake up in the morning, you know, with my left hand kind of like.
Really?
You know, yeah. You just got to shake it off. You run it under hot water.
You have a hand massager?
Put some biofreeze on it. I bought the Big Daddy Theragun, and I will.
I used to have one of those, and I lost it once.
I'll just go.
We have a hand that you stick your hand in this thing, and it actually inflates. So, you know, I've been shaking the rust off myself, and I'm hitting harder than I've ever hit.
Yeah.
I'm breaking all the sticks for some reason. My hands feel fine. They get a little tired.
Yeah.
But I don't feel anything like carpal tunnel-y, tingly,
I've never felt.
you know what I mean? But that hand massager, what a difference, man.
The only time my hands were ever like consistently like hurting, and it was just from like playing so much and just having to like work and just try to like, you know, make it, you know, just keep things going, pay the bills, was playing Broadway.
That's a lot of playing.
With my friend's band. And then drumline in high school for a season where I marched snare.
Would you ever kind of, how did you perceive wearing gloves? Would gloves work it or help it?
Man, I hope, I would never wear gloves. I hope that doesn't offend anyone in here if you guys wear gloves.
No,
I do from time to time.
I would rather just lose calluses and rebuild them. And
I would never want to do it, but
it helps you grip better.
When I do it is during the.
I don't really drop sticks though.
Colder months. In the colder months, my skin will split.
Mine does that though. That's mine splits really bad.
So then I'll put Johnny and I carry tons of new skin around. So we'll put the hydrogen peroxide in there to clean it. Then we put on layers and layers of new skin. I might even gaff tape that up, and then I'll throw on the Zildjian glove on my left hand.
Honestly, that might be a safe, because mine do the exact same thing, and I'm talking like huge splits.
Yeah,
I don't know why, but whenever we tour in the winter, and it just, you get through it or you forget about it during the show, but afterwards, I'm just like, where do the
splits happen?
Man, I usually get them like right along like my finger or along. It's like my fingerprint where the little crevices are. The fingerprint.
Really? So along the print line, right?
It hurts, man. It sucks playing with it, but I forget about it when I'm playing, but after I'm like. I realize it again. I'm like, oh.
What about doing the tape thing, the gauze tape around your, like Alex Van Halen?
I did super glue for a while.
Really? Yeah.
Just because it was just like, fuck it. I'm just,
I gaff tape it up during the show. I mean, Johnny will lay out strips of gaff tape.
That's smart.
And I'll just wrap gaff tape. And it always happens here on the pinky because it's, I know it's just your smallest finger and it's soaking up all this shock from backbeats.
Sticks dry your fingers out too.
Yeah, man.
Can't win.
It's a tough one. So you just learn to deal. And, we're so involved and in that happy place, and, music is taking us over. And so sometimes you're playing the gig and you look down, there's like blood all over your drums. You've cut yourself. You didn't even know when you did it.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Or the cymbal pinch. I've only done this a couple times, but it's, oh my God. You go to pinch the cymbal.
Yeah.
And then, or like hit and pinch, and then you whack
your finger.
Whack the shit out of your finger, dude. Oh my God. And then you got to keep playing. You're just like,
screaming.
So for this,
you ever hurt yourself and scream?
No, I just try to keep moving
while you're playing.
No, I just try to keep moving.
This guy's singing, man.
I'm singing, then I got to talk back, so I'm like cueing songs too, and counting and
Why
stuff.
is he saying motherfucker back there?
You've got all those damn mics back there because you've got a count off mic, you've got a real mic, you've got a bitch mic, you've got all,
Yeah, I got a vocal mic but we hired a singer this year. So, and honestly, it was great news for me because I was singing every song, and on top of that, doing count-ins. and cueing, songs and doing the set, just all that stuff kind of. And it's been a lot, and learning it at first, because I never did that when I joined them. And they're like, oh yeah, we need you to like count off all these songs or like cue stuff like in the show. And also like singing on every song. And I was like, man, this is like
cue stuff.
Yeah. Just like chorus up here, or we might have a song like the Houston Rodeo. We had the outro, on his song Burn It Down while he's on the horse riding around doing the thing.
Yeah.
And the stage is spinning and he's going the other way and you're kind of like trying to, and then there's a dude in your talk back who's going, all right, he's off. And then like, all right, guys, we're going out and what?
4 more measures.
Yeah. Like, this is it, kind of doing that kind of stuff. And
we're directing traffic. We're traffic cops.
But then I was singing on every song too. So it'd be like, na, 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 1, 2, 3, na, na, na. Like it was stupid, man.
That's got to be really interesting with your posture, breath support.
It made me think about that stuff a lot more. Again, it was great. Like really making sure I'm like sitting up straight, and just being like, man, I'm having to breathe so much more. Some of the shows I would get a little lightheaded because I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a lot. But yeah, figuring that out. But yeah, they hired a new singer named Aubrey Sellers, who's fantastic.
Yeah, I know that name.
Yeah, her father, forgive me, I forget his name, but he produced Parker's recent record. Her mom is Leanne Womack.
Oh, okay.
But but she's awesome, and she's in the band now. She's on touring with us full time, and she's been fantastic.
Jason Sellers.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's her guy.
He produced Park.
And then she sang on the record too. So it's perfect, man. And I can only sing like a female so much. I was always singing all these high parts. I can only sound so like and having a real woman sing real female parts is just I'm so happy.
Are you doing falsetto or?
Yeah, I was singing on top all the time, and I grew up around my mom. She had a really beautiful falsetto, and I guess I just kind of.
What'd your folks do?
My mom was a stay-at-home mom. She worked for the county clerk's office in Springboro, Ohio for, I think, a second. And then my dad worked at Fifth Third Bank.
Okay.
For most of, I think, of us being raised in Dayton. And then we moved to Centerville. It's just a better school system. We were homeschooled back in Dayton and moved to Centerville, Ohio. And that's where I kind of grew a lot musically, because they're like, all right, he loves drums. We got to get them all into a better school district or school system. And so once I went there, and Centerville High School had an incredible music and arts program.
Oh, that's great.
And they had so many bands, and that's where I just flourished, and I just ran with it.
Yeah, because
it was so much fun.
You got stage band, you got pep band, you got the orchestra, you got the concert band, you got the marching band. That's 5
symphonic band, and then you have the orchestra and the actual band come together, and you have competitions and states. It's good to know that you did that, because
I did that too. I mean,
I tried to do all of it, man.
I had zero interest in athletics. I wish I had been more of an athlete as a younger person. I'm way more of an athlete now.
Yeah.
You were an athlete back then.
Did you do marching band?
Yeah, 8 years.
Marching band's pretty athletic.
Yeah, but
are you kidding me?
They call us the band geeks. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, but
the guys in my band are like, there's a difference between being in a band and being in band.
But dude, like anyone,
that's great chop building.
Anyone who can play a flugelhorn and run around on a field for like 20 minutes.
Yeah. That's athletic.
That's insane, dude.
But you also did.
What'd you do?
If you're listening to this podcast, it means you're already looking to improve your drumming. Why not level it up in person with me when you book a one-on-one day drum intensive? Drummers from around the world have traveled to Nashville to study with me. We cover subjects like reading, rudiments, technique, hand development, charting, the Nashville number system, styles, percussion, music biz insider info, career development, positive mindset, and much more. Of course, we address all of your questions, and my deep curriculum has helped players of all kinds move the ball down the field to be closer to their goals, even getting accepted to college music programs, moving to that dream music town, getting gigs, and keeping them. Find out more about my one-on-one day drum-tensive. Go to drumtensive.com, drumtensive.com, drumtensive.com.
That's insane, dude.
But you also did.
What'd you do?
I was a speed skater. Yeah.
Right?
Substitute teacher, speed skater.
That's weird.
Didn't you watch his documentary?
I was also...
No, I didn't know you had one.
Okay, I was also a dungeon master.
You have a documentary?
You were a dungeon. He has a documentary. We filmed the documentary.
I gotta watch this now.
2010.
I don't know if it's holding up. I mean, maybe.
Were you like competitive?
No, it was a photograph in time.
It was.
I wrote down photograph from mentioning it before.
It was a snapshot of time.
It was
a snapshot in time.
Yeah,
but Jim and I have been friends for like 19 years, and we met initially because I was interested in voiceover, which I ended up pursuing and doing studying.
Before music, or
just like while I was here in Nashville, because I've been here 28 years, so which is really strange.
At the time, you were there for when you and I met. You were there for about 9 years.
Yeah. Wow, Jim. Yeah. I've known you longer than not knowing you. You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
That's really crazy.
It is crazy.
It's crazy.
Crazy.
It's crazy. So your parents were supportive. Amazing. That's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who's your first drum hero?
My first drum hero.
It's gonna be a jazz guy.
Man, I think one of my real first, drummers that I saw on a professional scale where I was like really doing it. I was just like, yeah, that's it. I want to be like this guy. Was a guy named Teddy Campbell.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. Bad motherfucker.
On The Voice?
He was in the first American Idol band.
Okay.
Yeah. And back when American Idol was like crazy, and our family, my mom, like everyone in my family sings. So we'd always watch American Idol together and like critique the singers, or my mom was a vocal coach too. But yeah, watching him play with that band, man, and play every different song and style and just deliver.
Nate Morton is the new Teddy Campbell.
I love, for The Voice.
Yeah, Nate's great.
He's great, man.
And then he, that band was Cher's band, and then they go and they also do all the ESPN awards, all these, I don't know, athletic award shows. They're he's in the Grammy band. So whenever you see someone doing the Grammys that doesn't obviously is not playing the tracks.
Yeah.
That's the Grammy band. So this last Grammys, they had 80 cues, and it was Nate and like Leland Sklar playing bass. And I have my first session coming up with Leland Sklar next Wednesday. I'm tracking 4 songs, and then the tracks are getting sent to Pasadena, California, and he's going to put bass on my tracks, man.
Ask him what he thinks about the current situation of politics in America and see what you get.
Oh, yeah. No. I avoid those conversations.
Here's the tracks. Also, what do you think about Tesla?
Yeah.
You own one? Are you going to buy one?
Do you own one? Do you think about getting one?
Going back to what you guys talked about, you were talking about drumming in the cold, and it brought back an image.
Yeah.
Because I was a big Neil Peart guy.
Yeah.
And I believe it might have been in Modern Drummer, had to have been, because there was no internet back then. There was a picture of him bundled up. I guess they were doing an outdoor Jones Beach type of amphitheater show, right?
Yeah.
And he had like a hat on, scarf around, playing outside. I guess they were doing a sound check or whatever. But I'm going, how in the world?
You got to love it.
You got to play that music for 3 hours in 40-degree weather?
Do you have a space heater on him maybe?
I don't know.
I couldn't.
He just had a big, you could tell he's smiling, but he only had his eyes showing through.
Yeah.
And it's a classic photo. You could probably find it on the Google.
Good Lord.
But my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you imagine, man?
So you guys will probably do it if you haven't done it yet, but they'll put you out on the veranda at 30 Rock outside the Today Show.
Oh, I hope not, man.
In the winter. Oh. And we would be out there and it would be like, like 5 degrees or some shit. And we'd be like, oh my God. And so they would, the staff would pass you around these
hand warmers.
Yeah, those. Yeah.
And then you got to do the thing.
Did you play to like a live recorded performance, or did you guys do it live or
live?
Oh man,
we're lucky that for 20 years we have been the go-to live band, which is always nice. You know,
not many people do that.
But we just did the opening of the National Final Rodeos in Vegas, and we mime to a track, but I write everything out to the track. So I'm hitting it so that no one can ever tell.
Yeah.
And I just tape it to my bass drum. You could do the same thing because you know how to read music. I love you for it, man. That's amazing. It's made a difference for you, right? I mean,
man.
What did you do? You've been here 8-9 years. Before you got Parker's gig for the first 6 years or whatever, I know you were supplementing with Uber, but did you do anybody else's gig? Were you playing around town?
Yeah. So
any funny stories?
The Uber thing was only when I first moved to town, because I was just, I didn't realize how nervous I was about trying to meet people, because I was like, well, these people could be my friends, but they're also people I might gig with. And so that means my friends are people I'm making money with. And so And I was really bad about going out the first couple of months. But then I finally met, and they become lifelong friends, a bunch of them. A girl named Rachel Horder, a guitar player named Seth Cook, and another guitar player named Riley Brea.
I think I know Seth Cook.
Yeah, great guitar player, man. Yeah. He's filled in with a bunch of people. Incredible. Him and Riley Brea is absolutely incredible guitar players. They were my roommates at one point. But I met them, and then the singer, Rachel Horder, incredible singer, and she was really great at getting stuff downtown on Broadway, and finally a spot open to play drums. The other drummer couldn't make it, so I started playing with them, and we do every Tuesday at Old Red.
Nice.
It was great, man. We'd play from 8 to 1 or midnight, and that was just that wasn't the priority for us, but we're like, man, we need to pay our bills. I'd rather do it playing music and playing with great people who I also.
So you could pay your bills playing 4 times a month at Old Red.
I lived very cheap. So
somebody
very
wants
cheap
to move to
rent,
Nashville.
Very, very,
Do you regret not getting out there sooner? How long did it take you to start getting out? A couple months, you said?
Yeah, I was just initially worried about the initial shock of oh my gosh, I have no money. I don't even have the right size drums for any gigs, or the right cymbals. I had stuff from music school,
but you're an extrovert, I think.
I totally am. Yeah. I think just moving here, just the financial pressure at the time, and just figuring out life too at the time. It was just
because it's more expensive than it was 28 years ago.
100%, and you could live. I was really good at finding cheap rent, and I could get people. I was pretty easy to get along with, and finding a decent space with other musicians sometimes. And my first place I paid rent in was $200.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. And it was a full house. It was 2 other people. I can find cheap rent at the time. I'm not proud of it.
That's a great life skill, life hack.
Yeah.
How do you do
out
that?
there?
Because I got all my students that I teach, they're moving.
You don't need to pay $1,800 a month for an apartment.
And they're like, where should I look? I'm like, well, most people like to go south, Brentwood, Franklin, or you can go up to Hendersonville, or, you could be right in the heart of it all. You could be in East Nashville, but some places aren't safe. So,
I never really thought about safety or anything either. Yeah. I lived in one part of town that was frequent. The house behind was abandoned. There were meth heads living there, and they burned their shit there, so you could smell that.
Whoa! Did they like to listen to you practice?
Yeah. Well, the only reason I moved there is because the dude that owned the house, his parents owned it or something, and he lived there, but it had a studio in the garage.
What?
It was during COVID, and I'm like, well, shit, I can record here. So, that was my real motivation. The room was terrible. Everything about it was terrible.
Yeah.
But I was like, man, this is great. But then there was gunshots constantly at this gas station on the corner. And there were always cops there, but I just ignored it. I was like,
my God. Imagine the guy that owns the gas station trying to find good help to work that place.
Dude, and the other guy at the time.
That was his angle.
The other guy, he would hear the gunshots and be like, I'm going to go check it out, make sure people are safe. I'm like, what the hell, man?
You're going to go into the fray.
I'm like, what kind of hero? And at the time, I'm like, man, you must have good health insurance or something. What are you doing?
So $200 for a house, is this word of mouth?
Man, I would just find places I'd look on Marketplace, and if I found a house that looked cool, they always wanted come over and let us meet you first. And I think most of the places I found, the people thought I was like, hey, he's a really nice guy. He's not, this is fine, and yeah, I don't know. Honestly, half the time, I don't know how. Looking back, I just hear about a place and you're like, oh, really? Yeah, man, I'm looking for a spot. How much is it? Man, it's really cheap, this much. I'd be like, oh, but I've lived in a couple places where it was man, during COVID, I lived in a house that it got sold. I had to move a couple times during COVID. It was a mess.
Whoa.
But I lived at one house and it was a little weird. The dude who owned it and all stuff but I was just
lock your bedroom door.
I was all just focused on just gigging and playing and just hustling and then trying to just pay the bills.
What was your mindset coming to town? How many years were you going to give it?
I wasn't thinking about that. I remember at one point though, a couple years in, having a real conversation with myself and going man, let's just say on the side that things don't work out, you're only going to get older. You need to, at some point, decide when you need to not take your goals away, but supplement some things to take care of yourself. I remember thinking about that a couple years, like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And not even because that was an issue. I was still young and I'm like, I can take it. I don't have to make a lot of money right now.
I got to do this for you. You still are young.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Don't ever think you're old.
Thank you. 30. I love 30. I'm very excited for my 30s, but
30s are good.
Yeah.
When you hit 30, it kind of feels like, oh my God.
It feels like how
it feels?
My parents' 20s probably felt in terms of economy and just everything.
Yeah.
I feel like it's the new 20s.
What was your big, first big break, big shot gig that you felt like, okay, there's something going on here?
Did somebody have a shot before Parker?
No, Parker it's honestly, that was the biggest opportunity I ever got. For me, it was, like I said, playing on Broadway every Tuesday. But then I was also, and when I wasn't doing that, I was playing with other people on the road. And it was a lot of like mid-level act stuff, nothing crazy, a lot of vans, just like the typical kind of thing, or a lot of pickup trucks too. A lot of these love to tour in pickup trucks.
You could only fit maybe 4 people.
Yeah.
Right. With the big,
some of them had the big cat, but yeah, it'd be a small band or it'd be also running tracks. They'd pull a trailer, and any of these dudes I played for, they always would drive the whole time. And sometimes these dudes would drive like 30 hours straight.
What?
Yeah. I mean, it was wild, man. Some of these country boys can drive just forever.
They wouldn't let anybody else drive?
No. And honestly, if anyone ever asked me to drive and I didn't really know the guys, I would take the latest one at night, and then I would just jerk the wheel really hard a couple times and scare them. And they didn't really know me, some of these guys I'd play with.
And that way you could just go.
And they'd be like, yo, dude, you're terrible at driving. Like, because I didn't want to drive. If it was with homies, I was happy to. But if it was just like, hey, this is just a gig, I just, this is last minute.
But it's hard to rest.
I never drove. I hated driving.
It's hard to get any sleep, or even just close your eyes.
Like sleeping on a plane.
If you don't know who's driving and if they're going to stay awake. Well,
I guess that's the same kind of thing on a bus, though, too.
Yeah, but these guys.
No, man, the drivers, those guys, I trust my life with our driver.
Yeah.
I never worry about that guy.
Well, you never hear the.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, we have a great driver. I never really hear rumble strips.
No.
He's fantastic.
If you do, you open the door, you go like, hey, man, what's up?
If they're really riding them, yeah.
You need a Coke?
You need something, you good?
Yeah.
Do the buses have like lane assist, lane keep assist?
God, I don't know.
All that stuff now?
No, but I talked about it with our driver. I was like, I'm shocked they haven't integrated that into buses.
Yeah, adaptive cruise control, all that stuff.
Just to kind of jump in for an emergency. But
I guess on a newer model Prevos, they probably do.
You ever do the shotgun? And watch the America go by up there?
I ride up there all the time and just hang out with our driver. He's
Rarely
great.
I do that. But in recent years, I was like,
fun, man.
Hey, there's this whole other world up here, man.
Just a massive window.
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah,
that'd be great.
I love doing that
more often.
I could see myself driving a tour bus. Like if life was different, I just wanted to kind of have purpose and wake up, did all the things I want to do. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to drive a tour bus.
Yeah, but you got to piss clean though, man. That's not fun.
That's fun.
If you're good with that, then that's the best job ever.
Can't have your gummies.
No gummies?
Yeah, no gummies, nothing. You can't.
Really?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, never mind.
And it's pretty good money too.
If you have like 3 days off, I think you could, there's like one of those days you can drink.
Yeah.
As long as there's like 2 days after some rule or something. But
it's the drinking too? Jeez, that's crazy.
I don't
Wait,
know
about. And
no,
drive?
they
sorry.
Show yourself up. Buddy.
You can if you get caught.
Yeah.
No, we've always had great drivers. In our early days of touring, we had this amazing, God rest his soul, tour manager, The Wiz, and I
remember him.
He did tons of time with the Doobie Brothers and Travis Tritt, and
he was curmudgeon-y.
Frampton. He was a total curmudgeon, but that was his seat up in shotgun.
No one else could sit in it?
No, that was his spot. So that ate up years of my touring career. So
if you sat in that seat, what do you get like?
You'd be like, Richie, go back to your damn bunk.
What?
Yeah. So that actually happened. Here you guys are, you're pretty much the reason why he's getting paid. People are coming to see you guys. So he pulled that card on you, like he postured to you guys and said, get out of my seat. I've been doing this longer than you have.
He was an older gentleman.
Yeah.
And it's just out of respect for your elders,
Yeah, but it's
for
like,
you.
What, did he have like a Nobel Peace Prize or something? Did he like cure a disease or what?
No, it's just, you'd have to meet the guy and be like, he was.
I met him on occasion, and it was like, all right, I get you.
Yeah.
I see what you're doing.
You just make it work.
You've been doing. You're the salt of the earth.
He's
You've been
like,
doing
I don't
want to
do this anymore, but I'm doing it.
This is all I know how to do.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it was that kind of a thing, you know.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, he had done decades and decades. He had lived through the golden age of rock and roll, and you know.
So he was worn out.
He was in his 70s.
burned out.
And he was still going.
Still going.
I should be retired on a beach in Florida by now, but I'm still on this friggin' bus, smelling your smoky pants.
Got to invest.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I met him one night at the Red Door because that was the last time I saw him alive.
When was that?
This was, at least a decade ago.
Oh, I thought you meant this was like recent, like you said.
Oh, no,
I was like, good lord,
No,
man.
you got to remember, I've been with these guys in this band, you know, since for 26 years.
That's right. Yeah, you've been.
You know what I
good.
mean? Isn't that crazy?
Man, that's nuts.
I know.
So you get a deal with Craviato. That's cool.
Yeah.
We brought
you
that
get to
up
hang out with
earlier.
Chad Cromwell, he's the A&R guy.
He was in
right?
LA actually, so I didn't get to see him. But
okay. But you will.
I saw Harry, hung out with him.
Harry
for a sec.
McCarthy.
Yeah, dude, he's been very good to me, man, since
Nice.
I've met him.
I'm going to need a
very kind to
kit
me.
for my, bedroom. I'm going to need a kit. Not me. I'm just saying, is that your position?
I was like, hey, the deal isn't that good. Like, I can't. Yeah.
But no, but I mean, do you can you go in and be like, hey, can you get me one for this, you know? How do you got to go into it? We'll give you whatever you want.
I went to the factory today and to get my first kit built.
On Nolensville?
Yeah. So I went there and they just showed me the whole process and everything. And I spoke
Are they
with,
building them out there too?
Yeah.
yeah.
Really?
It's an awesome warehouse, man. It felt
How the hell did I not
so
know
cool
this?
to watch them do this, dude. It just, everything is done by hand. And watching the two guys they have bending the shells.
Yeah.
The whole it's awesome. I'm so excited to get a kit made. But I
So
spoke with
they're
Chad
making
on
you
the-
a custom kit.
yeah, I can
for
pick the
you.
lugs and everything and
Colors.
bearing edge, everything. And I talked with Chad yesterday on the phone and we kind of went over that. Going with a maple kit, you know, going with what I know for the first one.
Do they measure the bearing edge and the flatness of it on a piece of granite or something like that? What do they
I don't know.
I don't know. I know they cut their bearing edges and sand them all by hand though.
Amazing.
Really?
Yeah, and they're like perfect though. So they have the standard 45. They have a 38, I think. They have I don't know if this is theirs specifically, but it's a hybrid edge, like a 45 hybrid, so it's a little rounder.
Yeah.
Really excited to try that out.
I guess the
They got a
rounder edge
couple other things.
would mute the head a little bit more.
I was learning a lot too because
Right.
I've never had the opportunity to play so many different varieties or be exposed to the opportunity to try different varieties of these kits and just different bearing edges. I think the smoother, like 45, I think it gives it a warmth, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
Would you say that?
I don't know.
You don't know either? Dude, I
don't know.
I mean,
I'm not a gear guy with bearing edges.
If you have an angular 45-degree edge,
the
it's gonna-
45 is a sharp. The
sharp,
The
so
45 hybrid is a little more round. So I assume it warms it up a little bit.
Yeah,
it takes
it
away
reduces
some of the attack.
Yeah, attack and probably overtones and ring.
Man, any drummers watching this are going to have no respect for me.
These guys do not deserve their drums.
These guys
They don't
aren't
know
real
it.
fucking drummers.
When you
dude.
think about it, it kind of makes sense when you think about the surface area and touching of the head. If you put a little finger on it,
If you got a larger area that's rounded touching the head, that's going to have a different tone than just a sharp
more
point.
surface area touching the head coming off the shell.
I still can't remember, and I talked about how much I love Remo. I still can't remember the name for the 2-ply and the name for the single ply. Every time I go to a drum shop, I said,
Emperor and Ambassador.
Yeah.
is the Emperor the 2-ply or is the Ambassador? I can't remember.
Ambassador
My whole
single ply.
freaking life. I can never remember.
So no, ambassadors, as amazing as they sound, and it's nice to have those, especially on a jazz kit or on a jazz kit like the fiber skin.
Single ply, correct?
Yeah.
You know how to remember it?
I still don't remember.
You know how to remember it? Think of Ambassador A comes before E, so A should have 1, E has 2.
Yeah.
I think I got. That's how I remember it.
And also,
Now I'm going to be
That's how
thinking
I
about,
remembered
what did
it.
he say about the letter A and E? What was he?
think about emperors. Emperors are fat.
Fat.
Double ply.
Fat Emperor.
What about ambassadors?
I can
Are they
remember
fat
fat
too?
Emperor.
They're like in the early part of their career. It's like, hi, I'm an ambassador for your.
Skinny.
They're just skinny.
Honestly, I can remember Fat Emperor. I can remember that.
Yeah, Fat Emperor, double ply. I'm looking up a friend of mine's Facebook
I love
page here
Remo. So.
Yeah.
because he likes to make fun of the terminology that drummers use, especially because he's a singer.
Yeah.
Rob Jackson.
What's up,
gonna call you
Rob?
out. He used to work at a music store back in Danbury, Connecticut, and he's been in amazing bands all through his life. He sounds exactly like Geddy Lee. He's in a Rush tribute band, But he basically he says, these drummers, when you talk about dry and wet cymbals, what the hell are you guys talking about?
Yeah.
What do you talk about bearing edges? Why is that so important? So he's somewhat kind of throwing shade at drummers, but I think he's genuinely curious.
Yeah, well, let's see him sing on his gig without a great drummer. Anyways.
His drummer.
Who?
Lou
Calderola.
That's right.
Yeah, what's up, Lou?
Calderola.
Yeah, something happened with his Facebook page. He got hacked or something, and
really?
We're trying to become friends again. You're probably too young for Facebook.
No, I grew up I had MySpace as a kid.
Oh, you did? Yeah, but you're a real kid. But I was in my 20s when I did it.
Yeah, I was born in 95.
Wow. You could be my son.
Do you have kids?
Isn't that crazy? No. I always pull out.
Hey, listen, I like you, man, but
yeah,
we can just be friends.
Let's be friends. I don't need to be your dad.
I don't need to be adopted. I'm 30.
Yeah.
Forget it.
Wow.
Yeah, Jim.
I didn't say anything.
Huh?
You're talking about pulling out.
Oh, geez. Well, we got to...
I could move in and live here. This is a great place, man.
Dude, this is huge.
I love it out here.
A lot of people will, I won't tell them the story, and they're like, geez, this is like a plantation or something.
Oh, no, it's a
great piece of property.
It looks like a person who owns their land in their home.
It's the American flag out there.
It's not us.
I lived in Whites Creek for a little bit on 7 acres, and I loved it, man.
So you're in Donaldson or Hermitage?
I'm in Donaldson now.
Okay, Donaldson.
But no, having a couple acres on a property and a long driveway like that, just away from the road, man, it's perfect.
I love just speeding up that driveway. It's so fun. You ever see me, Jim?
Get excited about
I do.
I might have,
No. We saw you come up, and the first thing I thought, I'm like, oh, he likes kayaks.
Oh yeah, I forgot to take that off.
What's that all about?
Oh, I love kayaking. I went yesterday and I forgot to take it down.
Wow.
And I was in a hurry today. So I've been driving all the town with my kayak.
Did you just find any
I go to Percy Priest, but you can go an hour out of town. There's a couple good places to put in, a couple good rivers. I haven't done any of those out there yet.
Yeah.
Right now I just go to Percy Priest. I just dump in there and just paddle around.
It's a little scary. Did you ever see Deliverance?
I don't think so. What happens in that?
So many things.
I'm not jumping out of the kayak. God, no.
But
a lot of banjos.
Miles McPherson does some kayaking, I believe. The session drummer.
Yeah. Does he really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's his thing.
Dude, real talk. I have a couple buddies who've been I want to get a kayaking group together, like a kayaking drummers group or musicians kind of thing. Cause I have so many buddies who are like, dude, let's go. And we all keep missing each other. And there's like 6 people, and we've all been we keep missing each other trying to go kayaking.
So put some practice pads on the front of it. Fuck
it. Couple beers.
Park your car, and then you launch into the thing, and then you got to remember where the heck to come back to.
Yeah, but I'm not going 20 miles away,
Yeah, it's not going 20 miles offshore for crying out loud.
Yeah. I'll go around some of the islands, or I'll go up to one of the islands, have lunch, just chill. And
wow.
It's just nice, man.
Pack a little PBJ.
We did the inflatable kayaks. We did that for a while.
Those are great.
They're great, but they're a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I couldn't do them personally. I like my Pongo. It's a mango colored Pongo.
It's convenience because they're easily transportable, but then when you get there, you got to blow them up, and then when you got to deflate them. That's the biggest issue.
Yeah, it feels like it looks like you just can't commit,
Right. You're putting your toe in the water. So
I've seen dudes on the road though on tour, they'll take one, and that's where I wish I did have an inflatable one, because we've been in some really great places in Oregon. I'm like, dang, I would love to go kayak.
It's beautiful out there.
Oh my god!
For 4 months a year, I was just out in Seattle, and we got some sun.
Yeah,
and it was nice. And they're like, yeah, it's 3.5 months a year, gorgeous, and then the rest of the year is like it's like the movie The Ring.
Yeah,
where it just rains and there's the girl coming out.
Yeah, it's England.
It's Birmingham, England.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, it's not my thing.
No, you would. Yeah,
I would not thrive there.
You would not.
No.
There's a certain kind of person that's for. Alaska's the same way. Anchorage.
Yeah. But also what Alaska has is 30 days of night. And that's when the vampires come out and they feast on everyone.
I would love 30 days of night. Yeah. That sounds kind of fun.
It messes with people's heads.
I've gone on a night shift. In college, I remember going to a night shift at one point on accident.
Yeah.
Before I moved to Nashville, I dropped out of college. And I just started, if I'm not careful when I have time off, I'll stay up late. And next thing you know, you watch the sun come up, then you sleep. And next thing you know, you're total night schedule.
Yeah.
And it's the weirdest thing. And then flipping back is even harder.
Flipping back is hard because, my gal is on
or touring,
total vampire schedule right now.
Yeah.
So what do you do on the road do you have any rituals? Do you have like a fitness thing you like to get into? You smell the roses? You go to the local coffee shops, record shops?
No, man, I just hang out with the band for the show. Yeah, we just go to the green room and no, we're not crazy. We're all just hanging out, talking, or just making each other laugh, just cracking jokes.
But you don't like to get off, get some sun, or see the city, or look where you're at?
If we're in a spot I'm like genuinely like wanting to go explore around, I'll do that. But sometimes, like at least during the winter tour, I was just like either in the bus. It was so cold. I was like in the bus or like on stage.
Oh yeah.
But if we're in like a cool part of town, like we'll be in Florida next weekend, and so like definitely gonna go to the beach.
Nice.
Try not to get sunburned though, because I haven't gotten any.
We're in
sun
Florida
ever.
Yeah.
We're playing Tortuga, so wherever that's at.
The festival. Well, that'll be great because you'll be parked right next to the stage, and that's I think it's
on the beach.
It's
right?
a really good Live Nation festival, and you will be on the beach. And
let's go.
Brian O'Connell does an amazing job with that. The food will be top notch. You'll probably have a masseuse. There'll be a video game lounge. There'll be someone to cut your hair if you want to get a haircut.
It's one of those ones.
Really nice.
Good festivals.
Really good festival.
Stagecoach was pretty good. It was like that. They had a lot of good amenities.
That's
everything.
A nice one. That's where Coachella is, man.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
Tortuga.
But we're flying it. I'm flying into Miami though for some reason.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why. That's what it says on my flight.
Jim loves Miami.
I think I need to call my tour manager and be like, "Hey, is this right?"
I think you're only 20 miles away.
Oh, for real? Okay.
Yeah.
Then I'm not worried.
Yeah, man.
We flew into Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
You and I.
That's right.
And Courtney.
When we interviewed Grant Cardone.
Grant Cardone.
Yeah.
For this?
Courtney.
The early version of this podcast was called
Pick Rich's Brain.
There was like 20 episodes.
No way.
And we flew to go interview Grant Cardone. It was great.
How was that? What was that like?
It was fun.
That was pretty cool. Very eye-opening. Got a glimpse of his culture.
He's is he like the business guy?
Yeah.
The big. I see him on the Instagrams.
Yeah.
Real estate.
A lot. Yeah.
He's been calling out a lot of people recently.
I feel called out when I watch his videos.
Gary Brecka has been the guy lately. They're in a fight, both of them.
Yeah.
Just like business guy beef.
Pretty much.
Kind of.
Yeah. You want to take on the bull, you get the horns, that kind of thing.
Now, are these guys
Bravado,
actual
machismo.
businessmen?
Oh, yeah.
As well? Or have they gone all into the social media
Cardone's probably a
thing?
bona fide billionaire by now, I would say.
Shit.
Yeah.
Our other business friend is Brad Lee.
Brad Lee.
Who is
dropping bombs.
He's not a billionaire yet, is he?
No, I don't probably.
Even that phrase is crazy.
Not.
He's not a billionaire yet, is he?
I mean, but his goal.
Yeah. Oh, he's like, that's his active.
He wants to get there.
Hey, good for him, man.
Billionaire in the making.
Jeez.
Pretty incredible.
If you want to be a billionaire, you're definitely going to become a millionaire.
Yeah. I mean, that's someone who.
That's nuts.
He's not sitting around watching Netflix.
No.
He's getting stuff done.
He's probably not playing for people for a living.
Netflix and chill is great. What, you binging anything? You got to check anything out?
I don't binge, but I'll watch shows while I get work done. Like I'll binge work watch.
Yeah.
Like Friends, Scrubs, Rick and Morty, Bob's Burgers.
Rick and Morty, is that a cartoon?
Yeah, it's a cartoon.
You ever heard of Rick and Morty?
You ever heard of Rick and Morty?
You ever heard of Primal?
Yeah.
I haven't watched that.
You bring it up all the time.
Primal's great.
Or the Lord of the Rings movies. I'll rewatch those all the time.
All the time.
And I don't even read the books. I just love the movies.
I kind of almost like the Hobbit films more than the Lord of the Rings.
You can't say that.
No?
I'm not like a Lord of the Rings diehard.
Yeah.
But I know for a fact you can't say that.
But I like how it, like Peter Jackson was like, we've got these people. So we've got the shortest book of all of them.
Yeah.
And we're going to stretch it out
the longest.
3 movies.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like, wow.
That was pretty cool. But I'm pretty sure if there's like a diehard Lord of the Rings fan in here and heard you say that, they'd be like, well, you're wrong.
Because I'm kind of diehard, but I'm not like a slap you on your wrist if you get something wrong.
No, me neither. I just...
The Return of the King was the last one, right? Where there was like
Return of the King.
Yeah. But the first one was great. When the Kraken comes out, when they're trying to, it was like a giant octopus.
Oh, they're
type
trying to get
beast,
in the cave.
Right? When they're trying to get in the cave, that's big. And then when I forget the name of his character, but the Hobbit, he's like backing up against the thing, and then the helmet falls into the well and wakes up all of the orcs.
That whole fight scene.
And
Frodo gets stabbed.
And the cave troll comes in, and it still looks amazing.
Yeah. And the CGI,
that's 1999.
I'm gonna sound like an old man, but the CGI back then still holds up.
It does. Yeah.
I'm not a cinema guy, like not very knowledgeable with that stuff either, but I'll watch those old movies. I don't know if it's just because it's familiar with my eyes and feels good when I watch it, or if it's genuinely like, no, the CGI back then was
because when
fucking
Fellowship of the Ring came out, I was your age. I was 29. Came out in 1999.
Dang.
Yeah. So it holds up great. I mean, it really does.
Absolutely, man.
Have you guys seen where they take scenes from movies? They did I came across this morning. I'm trying to search for it, but they took the scene. I don't know what movie it's from, but they're all coming to, I guess, Frodo's bedroom, and he's awake, and they thought maybe he was sick.
Oh, it's at the very end.
Right, right. And like all the cast is coming into the room.
And they're all different heights.
They're all different heights, and they're all happy that he's awake and everything, but they replace the music with, you've been
about to get sexy.
You'd make it sexy music. Yes. And it's like they give it a completely different
changes the vibe.
Music really
hits
changes
it differently. And it's like, Ian McKellen's character's looking at him all like, hey.
Yeah.
And all these guys start coming in,
just jumping on the bed,
jumping on the bed, and the music. It's like, oh my gosh, this is not right.
Oh my god, that I could picture how funny that would be.
You ever see the end of Star Wars without the music,
where they're just kind of walking and breathing and farting,
you hear all the footsteps and all that stuff.
You hear people in the background going.
Now, Star Wars is really old to someone your age because Star Wars loved it. Star Wars came out in 76.
Yeah,
good Lord.
77 actually.
77.
Yeah,
and Alien, my other favorite movie, was 1978.
Yeah. I love the newer Aliens.
Oh, dude.
I'll admit that.
Hey, hold on.
Alien Romulus was very good.
Hold on.
The latest
Prometheus was fantastic.
Yeah,
Prometheus was good.
So freaking good.
Jaws.
I never watched Jaws.
75.
50th anniversary this year.
1975.
Yep.
When were y'all born?
They're re-releasing it into the theaters.
That's great.
We should go see it.
Let's do it.
Yeah. That is such like a perfectly made movie.
See, it just looks old to me.
Once you appreciate the acting, and once you got to watch it. I've been watching it since I was probably 7 years old. And as you get older, it kind of grows with you, and you appreciate it deeper.
Yeah.
And then you watch that USS Indianapolis speech scene. Oh man, don't actors basically use that as a?
It's definitely a monologue that you can use for auditions.
He really got drunk.
He really got drunk, and he really went there.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's this? Did he say something just really off?
Buddy, you gotta watch it. You got.
Aren't there like 6 Jaws movies?
Which one? There's 4.
There's really only 1.
It really is. Well, 1.5.
Yeah.
Jaws 2.
What about the other 5? What are those?
Jaws 2, I think they filmed. I think they filmed it with. I don't know if they filmed it separately or maybe at the same time.
The shark worked better. The shark worked better, so you got to see more of the shark.
The animatronics or whatever.
But what's made the first one so terrifying is the fact that the shark didn't work well, so they had to rely on suspense and shots and angles and the music.
I could see why that is cool.
Yeah.
So
it scared people enough they didn't want to go in the water.
They had to make it scary without relying on the animatronic shark.
Very, very Hitchcock. Yeah. And it's funny because Courtney and I, when we dated, we went to Martha's Vineyard and we swam in that channel.
Dude, if I can't see a couple feet down,
I don't get in the ocean.
I'm not going in there.
Really?
Because you're a kayaker. That thing can fall over, right?
Yeah.
And most lake water is dirty and murky, and
depending on the lake, you're at.
It's you go into a lake and it's
also really deep.
Snapping turtle could come out of nowhere and grab onto your foot and take a chunk out of you.
I mean, dude,
I just try not to think about that because I don't get out of the kayak though. Because I'm like, I can't get back in that thing.
Yeah.
In the middle of the lake. I'll tip it. It's so small. It's going to fall over. Like,
I think that would be weird with my claustrophobia.
I'm going to pause real quick.
Yeah.
Because apparently we're having.
So I was 25 and he was.
A true prodigy, man. Like a true,
He was 11.
I
was like, hey, kid, what's your name? Tony. I was like, well, how are you going to start your solo?
How old were you at the time?
I was 25.
No.
He was 11. And he goes, I said, how are you going to start your solo? And he goes, the helicopter. And I was like, oh, that's cute. And then he goes out there and he's like.
So you didn't know about this kid yet? No way. So you got to see him.
So I won for the state of Texas, which is hard to do because there's a lot of fucking.
Good Lord.
And then Tony, and it was me, and there was one really mature guy. He was like 35, and he played like really mature, like really cool jazz chops and stuff.
Old school.
Yeah. What do you think, buddy?
Yep.
Slate?
No way though.
Okay.
So you got to see Tony.
Oh yeah.
Like Brett. That's on that. But what was your reaction when you saw it?
I got to compete against the young Tony Royster, and he was just exceptional. Of course, he won. And then, years later, we all got to hang at, Drum Channel in Oxnard. It was like,
cool.
It was me, Keltner, Thomas Lang, Tony, and Don Lombardi, the basically the owner and proprietor of DW Drums.
That's incredible.
Pretty amazing. And then Keltner and I got to share a slice of cheesecake. That's my claim to fame.
You seem like a nice guy.
Very nice guy. Yeah, man. Hey, so we were talking, we took a pee break, that you are doing tons of writing and mixing and producing. What is that all about? Tell us a little bit about that.
The mixing thing, I can't say tons. A lot of that's...
it's a new passion.
Yeah, I'm just getting started with that, and I just really enjoyed it. I just started producing the past year or two. And writing. And I just started with friends, like really close friends who I could, trust to grow in front of. And recently just produced a kid, some kid in Texas named J-Rod.
Yeah.
I thought it was Jared at first, and he corrected me, said no, it's J-Rod. I said, oh, okay, cool. And I produced 2 songs for him, and there was no budget. He's like, hey, I'm a broke college kid. I said, well, man, you're in luck. I'm just looking for anyone who's willing to, trust me with their music and let me do this.
Yeah.
So I mixed, I recorded the drums and the bass and pretty much everything else. And then I had my buddy track guitars and acoustic for it. And I was like, man, there's no budget. I'm just going to mix these.
Yeah.
Watched a couple videos and just used my ear too. You're just kind of trusting your ear a little bit. And, sent it to a few other buddies who mix and said, hey, what do you think of this? And they said, hey man, this actually sounds pretty good.
Dude, you're on the path.
So I was like, cool. And it wasn't the hardest track in the world. It's pretty bare bones, like country stuff, but, started doing that, and writing with him still. And then I have 2 songs I wrote, that's going to be, with some, 2 buddies that's going to be on his album coming out.
Nice. You're already getting some cuts, man.
It's baby steps, man. It's like the micro wins, it's like, hey, like my friend's record's coming out, and 2 songs I co-wrote, and I I made the tracks for those songs.
Do you have a cool, kind of like quirky tongue-in-cheek name for your, publishing company?
No, I'm just getting that stuff started too, and making sure like the points thing, and trying to have the nets ready, long term. But I'm still very humble, but I'm still very eager. I just love it, and I love coming home and working on that equally as much as I love going on the road and playing live.
I think someone told you to play a little bass too. Yeah.
I bought a bass probably 6 years ago. I'm not amazing at it, but I was just like, man, why can't I play bass? I play with bass players all the time. Yeah. Why can I not? So I would start to learn songs on bass and end up learning songs quicker too, learning the forms quicker. And just relating so much more to just to feel like, oh man, like when a drummer does that sucks for a bass player, things like that. Like, just learning that kind of stuff. Like what does a bass player go through? And it makes you think about kick note length even then too, even though like you could have a kick that's muffled or whatever, but you can still think about it and play it in a long way.
Do you bury the beater? Or do you pull it off?
For the most part, yeah. Some of the lighter songs I try not to, but if I'm really feeling it and just loving it, and we're playing some high energy song, I'm burying.
Same with me. My modus operandi is to bury it, and then if I want to get like a lighter tone, or for God forbid, if we're playing a little bit of jazz, you pull it off.
Recording wise, I try to not bury it all.
Oh yeah.
I try to play pretty different recording wise.
Oh, interesting.
Just because of the results I'm trying to get.
So lighter cymbals, pull the beater off.
Yeah, and there's still stuff where I'm like hitting like I do live, but I would say like my highest volume or velocity in studio is probably 30% less than what it is live.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and I just like you can still get a huge drum sound.
Yeah,
and still hit great. And let some of the gear do the work too, and still sound freaking huge.
Totally.
And I also I was really turned off growing up by drummers who hit so hard they choked the drum and cymbals.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, I'm like, man, that's just like a waste of energy too. Like, and some of these guys, I was like, man, I can hit as hard as you, but I'm like, it's all on the wrist and just letting the stick work a lot of times.
I like sometimes when I'm in situations where I don't have to be like, because I mean, I've been painted into a box where it's like, oh my God, yeah, he's that animal
People
guy.
think you just do the one.
But that's okay.
How do you combat that?
It's better to be known for something than nothing at all.
But true. But for you, like, I mean, you obviously can do a lot. So how do you handle?
I just make sure
in
that
a business world too, you have to present yourself to sell yourself. And how do you?
I just make sure that I'm in different circles as much as possible. So if somebody calls me to do a Americana record, I go and do it. If somebody says to come present at the Percussive Art Society and I can show all the percussionists in the world that I have a good touch, I'll go and do those things, So whatever you can do to provide exposure and to let people know, one year I sat in with the Airmen of Note at the Percussive Art Society, and like Peter Erskine came up to me afterward and said,
That's big.
That was surprising because he just never.
So were you kind of like bummed out when he said that? You were like, dude, come on. Or were you just like, I was like, thank you.
I was like, absolutely. Thank you. But that's the public perception.
Is it kind of like an actor getting typecasted, or what's the term where they get associated with that role?
And I studied acting for 5 years, and I was fully prepared to be typecasted. Actually, that was my goal.
Yeah.
And when I did it, I always played a cop or a detective or a school teacher or a douchey husband.
Yeah.
Like one of these type.
I want a list of the movies you've done, by the way. Or anything.
It's a very short list.
That's okay. I think it'd just be so fun to be like, oh my gosh, that's rich.
So you see me with this microphone right now? Like I was so proud. I was in this movie called All Light Will End, and I played like a Casey Kasem type over caffeinated DJ, and it was like so close to my actual essence.
You nailed it.
Right?
You nailed it.
And I watched it, and my parents got to see it, all my relatives got to see it, and then the credits start to roll, and it says, the name of my character, Rich Redmond, and I felt so proud because there was not a set of drums blocking me from my humanity and my essence as a human being. And my parents were like, that's all right, Richie, but when are you going back on tour? Because even my parents are like, you're a drummer, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like a person can't be dynamic.
But Jim was always very supportive.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
Real friends.
Jim's the guy that'll pull over at 3 a.m. and when my car's in a ditch and pick me up.
Dude, and you only ever get sometimes you only really get one, maybe a few of those kind of friends, man. Those are the real deal.
Totally.
I put his windshield wipers on for crying out loud.
That's right. I said, I'm going to buy these at Pet Boys, and then Jim is going to put them on for me.
Was this like your whole day, by the way?
No.
When this happened?
This happened, I don't know.
Was this during the internet?
And he did it so quickly, and he didn't even have to read the manual or anything.
You couldn't look it up how to put them on?
No, I am not handy.
That's not handy. That's just like...
But I mean, Pet Boys is right there.
It's like grinding coffee or something.
It's like 2 miles away.
I think it's willful ignorance.
You know what I think? I think it's a dependency at this point. I think he knows you'll be there. He's like, he'll just do it.
Totally.
It's like when we're talking about, learning Cubase and all the different things.
Yeah.
You're like, I just can't get it. There's probably a smidge that you do get it.
Oh, totally.
You just don't want to.
Yeah. Hey, so we're gonna get into the. Hey, what is the best way for people to get in touch if they want to connect with your energy and your enthusiasm and they want to collab with you, as the kids say?
Yeah. Man, honestly, just message me on Instagram.
The gram.
I don't know if that's like the hip one to say.
JONN. Is that your middle initial?
No, that was just. So real talk, it just happened. I dated a girl in high school.
Yeah.
And she's like, it'd be really cool if you spelled your name with 2 N's. And for some reason I made that my email.
Oh my God.
And then people just started going, oh, John with 2 N's, right? And I was like, well, it's a thing. This was years ago.
Yeah, run with it.
So I just kind of
went with 2 N's, Bostwick.
So that's just my actual name is Jonathan.
Jonathan.
Yeah, Jonathan Mark Bostwick.
Yeah.
The John thing. And people are like, is that really how you spelled it? I'm like, yeah. And some of them probably thought that was like legit. Oh, that's your name, John with 2 N's. But people remembered me and could find me easier. And I would get calls, strangely enough. Yeah. Like, yeah, John with 2 N's. How you doing? I'm like, okay, I'm going to roll with this.
Well, that's why I texted you. How do you spell your name? Because I saw John, Jon. I saw the Instagram, JONN. And then I saw some sites have you as JOHN.
It's confusing. Dude, I've kind of, honestly, it's my fault. I've made a mess for myself. Because I'll forget too. And people like Zildjian, they'll be like, hey, we're working on your bio. How do you do your name? I'll be like, oh yeah, John JOHN. I'm like, and I remember like, wait, no, I don't do it that way. So my name's pretty much like misspelled all over the internet, and it's really because of my doing.
That's funny. Oh my God, buddy.
It's totally my fault too, man. I don't know how to fix it either.
Oh my God, that's funny. Hey, we're going to do the Fast Five. What's your favorite color?
Favorite color? Blue. Royal blue.
Oh my God, this is funny. You're the 15th
guy. Why are we laughing here?
Because so many you're like the 15th guy.
Blue and black.
Yeah.
Black because it goes with everything, and blue. I grew up a Michigan fan in Ohio because of my dad. But the royal blue just always caught my eye.
Nice. You're gonna have a royal blue kid at some point. I don't think Craviotto does that, but
like the kid would come out blue, or that's not good.
Yeah.
Do they do actual like painting of the drums or wraps, or is it always like a wood?
They do wraps, right?
Craviotto? Yeah, they do wraps too. They send them to California to wrap, but man, the inlays are so nice, and the stands. Like, why would you even want to cover it up?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, because that's their thing.
I think the shells that have a little imperfection but are still good.
Yeah.
They'll wrap those ones.
Oh, interesting.
But the ones that are flawless on the grain, for whatever style, what it is, dude, it's unreal seeing how they make this stuff. Do
they do odd size drums like 13s, 15s, that kind of thing?
I think if you special request it, I'm not sure. I don't remember. I didn't see any like 15 snares or anything. Toms, they have a ton of variations, but in terms of snares, I think they have mostly 14s.
We need to do away with the odd size
if
toms.
I remember correctly.
Just get rid of them.
Let's get rid of them.
Yeah.
Because they're a bitch to tune.
14, 12, 16, 22. That's what I'm rocking.
You're a 22
right now.
guy.
Yeah.
Nice.
You know, I know it's country and a big sound, but I don't know, it just works.
22.
Maple.
Hey, man, go with it.
Love maple guy.
Favorite food or dish?
Favorite food or dish? Ooh, the Dan noodles at Punk Walk.
I heard about this Punk Walk. I saw it in the Nashville
You gotta
scene.
go, man. We gotta get sushi there. It's the sushi rice is perfect, and the cocktails are amazing. It's next to
Punk Walk.
What brewery in this Pilates spot? What's the?
Is it in East Nashville?
Yeah, there's a big brewery that it's like right next to or like underneath.
Okay,
it's like in a corner next to a couple different shops.
So we got a lot of big breweries here, though. Too.
I'm not a brewery guy. I don't like.
No, you got
I'm
the Black Abbey. You got Yazoo. You're a cheap beer guy.
I'm a cheap beer guy.
I was too,
like Ultra or Miller.
And then I got on
Rocks.
one of the podcasts I produce is called the Ales and Tales Podcast, alesandtalespodcast.com. Really opened my eyes. It's a buddy of mine and a couple other people. You start really appreciating, like all of a sudden, the rest of the beers just taste like water.
Yeah.
You know,
I think that's what he likes about it.
Well, I lived in Cincinnati, and there's tons of great beer there. Tons of great breweries, and we would play in. I'd play in fusion bands and buddies projects at this one where they could let us drink underage because our professor, he was working there.
Nice.
So I drank tons of great beer there. I hated sours. I hated the like porters, coffee ales. Beer, the porters. Yeah. I just would ask for the lightest beer.
Nice.
Every time, and it was still too heavy for me.
We had a sour on the show.
Ugh.
Dude,
I can't do it, man.
Reserve your judgment because at this point, you know which one I'm talking about.
It tastes like a.
That'd be.
Can I tell him?
You hated it, probably, right?
No, he loved it.
Really?
He loved it because I'm not a big sour guy either.
I've had so many of them.
One of our guys brings it and wraps it in tinfoil, so we can't see what it is.
Yeah.
So we did like a whole mystery kind of thing. We poured it into the glass. It's ruby red. It's beautiful. And we do a sniff test. We do a sight test. We look at it and describe it. We do a sniff test. I took a sniff test. I was 8 years old again, sitting at my mother's kitchen table.
You drink beer at 8 years old?
No, dude. Well, maybe. After playing outside on a hot summer day with a glass of milk and a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It was that vivid. I mean, it brought back memories I've long forgotten.
Tastes like peanut butter and jelly.
And then you drink it, it tastes they get the peanut butter right.
It's amazing.
It's nuts.
See, I still, my mind just goes,
Dude, I'm telling you.
We got one here? I'll try it.
I wish I did.
I wish I did because we would crack them open now.
They have it up at Cool Springs Wine and Spirits. Yeah. I believe they have it on tap. You can get a growler filled with
PB&J beer.
It's called Mixtape, and it's by Zool Brewing out of Knoxville. XUL Brewing. Zool. It's stunning.
Maybe we'll hit them up for some sponsorships.
I would love that.
Speaking of that, what's your favorite drink?
Favorite drink ever?
Yeah.
Cappuccino.
Just a cappuccino.
Cappuccino, whole milk.
You make a good one at your crib?
Yeah, I love making a cappuccino in my house.
Nice, man.
Pretty good at them.
And then what would be who's your favorite drummer of all time? Is that possible?
Or of the week, flavor of the month.
Yeah, who do you listen to
I can tell you, like, who am I listening to right now in terms of drummers? Well, man, I've been listening to, because Parker's new record coming out has Near Z on it.
Oh, nice.
So I've been listening to, and I have like the actual drum files. So I'm like,
great.
I can hear every note of his. And I've always been a fan of his, but it's really fun when you get to like dive into them. And the last record was Chad Cromwell.
Yeah.
He's another favorite.
Sounds like Chad on there.
And Craviotto too. And it was fun playing his part. I really love his playing and his energy. he played on a Charles Kelly record.
Yeah.
I wish that record did better, in terms of commercial success. Cause dude, like he's got a song called Your Love on there and Chad goes off, man. It almost sounds like they said, hey, just keep it rolling, man. Hey, just keep going. And I just love his energy. I love his fills.
Charles plays some pretty good drums.
Does he really?
He's a closet.
Did he play on the album?
He was like a drummer originally.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my God, you're so tall and you got such a good voice. You should like be standing out front.
Yeah.
You're
front man. Yeah, you're too good looking. Get out from behind these drums.
You're so tall.
You're not ugly enough for these drums. You gotta.
What about you got Jim? Ask your question.
If you had to, sorry, texting with my son.
Hey, family man, that's important. That's more important.
F
than
is
this.
for family.
That's a great show,
dude. I just started watching that.
Dude, Bill Burr's brilliant on that. He's just bursting a vein in his head the whole season.
It'll be amazing if he makes it to 80.
Hasn't had a heart attack.
He's screaming at everyone.
Unless that's not really him at home.
Whether he likes you or not, you're getting screamed at. It's crazy. What's out there, Jim?
Sorry, distraction.
Are we in danger?
No,
it was a car pulling up the driveway and they pulled off to go next door.
Say if you see a car pulling up here and they're not supposed to, you got problems.
You got time to get the gun.
Yeah.
Or to sit here and be a victim.
Yeah, they're driving away. You're good.
Yeah. So, if you had to play in a tribute band for the rest of your life, and it's all you can do, and you're playing the same music over and over and over again, never again to play any other kind of music.
Yeah.
Like genre?
It could be any
tribute
band.
A tribute band.
It has to be a band.
So a lot of people are like Rush, Kiss, Steely Dan.
Oh man,
Eagles.
Steely Dan's a good one.
Yeah,
for sure.
Because you get to do like 6 different drummers.
Well, this is such a good question, so I'm overthinking it. I'm like, man, I got to pick a good one.
Yeah, forever hold your peace.
I think I got a good one.
Yeah,
this would be fun. Playing in Frank Sinatra's big band, like a Frank Sinatra tribute big band.
Irv Cotler.
That'd be sick.
Yeah, man.
I could play in a tribute big band. It'd be fun to get back to that. That'd be amazing.
Get there,
just kicking a horn section's ass all night, dude.
Oh my god!
Because you got to keep those guys in order. That was the one thing I learned playing that stuff was like
emergency.
If a horn section doesn't feel good with you, they'll run. They'll be like, all right, later. They'll go without you, and you have to like get in there. And that was like really cool to learn. Like, man. Especially with big bands, you really got to sit back there and say, "Hey, motherfucker! Like
this is my band."
Yeah, hear that rim shot in your ear? Like, listen.
Stop!
Yeah. It was fun, man. Yeah. But if you were killing it, then they would vibe with you. But if the horn section didn't like you,
dude, I'd love to see you play some big. So we've got a couple of big bands around town. We have the Nashville Jazz Orchestra, we have the Tennessee Jazz Orchestra.
Have to shake off the rust for sure.
And there's a couple of little reading bands around town. Sometimes some cats will get together over at the Union and pull out some charts and do some stuff. There's a big band called the Establishment Big Band. And when I was in your seat, all the years ago, for having first moved to Nashville, I did some time with those bands, but yeah, it's been a while as well.
There was one I played with. It was a bunch of old guys. Yeah. And a lot of them they never like did like the jazz thing professionally. A couple of them played with some big bands professionally. And then there was one guy, and they were all in education or retired. One guy was John Harner. He played with Stan Kenton too.
Oh yeah.
There's a song called "Send in the Clowns."
Oh, nice.
That was him on trumpet. Playing
him on trumpet.
That insane trumpet solo that gets really high.
Oh yeah.
John Harner played that with Stan Kenton every night when he toured with him, and so he was in that band too. But I was little. I know I was not perfect too. They were like, I was lucky that they let this little kid like drive the Jazz Central, in high school and go sit in.
Those are great opportunities.
It was like 8th grade or something.
Dude, yeah.
I think I remember driving at least at one point. I did it for a little bit, but no one was in the club. The owner was there, really old. It was Dayton. There wasn't anything over there, and they just hand you a big booklet full of trumpet parts.
There you go.
Or something they say like number 227. You'd scroll through it real quick and pull out the trumpet part that was kind of torn and maybe missing a page.
It's got liquid paper on it. It's got Sharpies.
Look, dude, it looks like shit. The thing is old. It's probably 100 years old. And they talk through, hey, trumpets, watch this. Drummer, make sure, here's the tempo. And then we just go.
Yeah.
It was pressure for me, but it was also no pressure because no one was there. It was just, these dudes just liked getting together and playing.
That's nice.
At big band music.
I love that we have that in common because not a lot of people have that experience of pulling out a book that thick.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going to happen. And
never heard of the song most of the time.
Amazing. That totally helps your musicianship.
It was fun, man. And then doing it in college and competing with it too in high school and doing all that stuff. Once I moved here though, like I just was like, I want to learn the Nashville way. I just want to see how people do it here.
Well, you know what? We do have a process. I was at
it's different here, man.
I was breaking bread the other 2 nights ago with Neer. I was sitting right next to Neer and we were having the hummus. He was like, just think Pumas. Just think Pumas. Pumas. The shoes, Pumas.
That's how you actually say it?
Hummus. It's not hummus. It's hummus. And so we had it. And he was like, oh, it's pretty good, because he's, Middle Eastern. And so he's
Israel,
like, oh,
I think.
it's pretty good. Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
Dude, they have a sound too. Those drummers from Israel, all the ones I've heard from Israel, they have like their own.
And his brother does the Israeli Idol. He's the house drummer on TV for.
Neer's brother is?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Isn't that crazy?
No way.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
That Room for Squares record that he played on, fantastic.
That's where I knew him from.
He knows it though. Neer is awesome, man. So that'll be good to hear the new
Genesis,
record.
I think he played with.
He played with Genesis and.
Who else did he play with? He had an amazing live career before
Billy
he even
Squier.
started recording. Yeah.
Remember when Billy Squier?
Everybody wants you.
Dan Ash. He had a wonderful drummer, Bobby Chenard, who died way too young.
Rumor has it Billy Squier was going to sing for Van Halen.
Wow.
Once upon a time.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Hey man, I am happy for you. I'm proud of you, man. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to Nashville. You're you've been here 9 years, something like that.
About, I think, yeah.
You got a great gig. You're barely 30 years old.
Yeah.
You're
Thank you. Barely.
You're doing your you're expanding into your writing, production, playing the bass, mixing thing, which is very, very smart. So if people want to find you, it's on the gram at JONN Bostwick, BOSTWICK. That's John Bostwick. And next time we're together, we're going to be at Punk Walk.
Yes, Dan Noodles.
We're doing the noodles, man.
And some sushi. Dude, it's so good. It's so good.
Okay, I got to do it. Punk Walk.
I'm hooked on it right now.
You guys heard it. You guys heard it here. Jim, thanks for it was a long day, man. Thanks for putting in the time. We love your time and talent. We appreciate you. And to all the listeners, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate it. Be sure to subscribe, share, rate, and review. It helps people find the show. And I've seen a couple reviews. You guys are taking heed. You're taking my advice. You're leaving us some nice complimentary messages. So we appreciate it. We'll see you next time. Thanks, John. Thanks, Jim.
Hey, buddy.
This has been The Rich Redmond Show. Subscribe, rate, and follow along at richredmond.com/podcasts.